All right, this is the next stage of making our mask, which is to paper mache it. So what I've done is I've mixed up 1 cup of flour, 1 cup of water. This will be the glue of the paper mache. I've taken a bunch of newspaper and cut it into 1.5 inch strips by 5 or 6. It doesn't look critical. 1.5 inch, 2 inch, 5 or 6 inches long. I put a very thin coat of Vaseline on my mask on the plastic so the paper mache will peel off here pretty easily. You maybe don't have to do that, but I thought that was the best idea to make sure. It's like a little insurance, because what happens if you make your mask and then you decide you don't like it, or you want to do another one, or you want to do it over? You want to reserve this. You don't want to. You want to be able to separate this from your paper mache coating you're going to put over it. Okay, so there we go. I'm all set. Again, Vaseline over it. I've cut out some shapes. I'm going to paper mache onto this as I'm working on it. Cardboard shape here. It's going to go on the top of this, somewhat like that. I also cut out some pieces of egg cartons. I'm going to put them around the side, because here is my drawing for my mask. So this is the direction I'm going to be going in, So, all right. So far, let's try paper macheing. So I'm going to take my scrap of paper. I've got a brush in here, and I'm going to brush some glue and water, or actually flour and water, onto the paper, like so. Now I'm going to put several coats of this. I'm going to say, because I'm using newspaper, the newspaper's a little bit on the thinner side, I want to use enough newspaper to make a nice thick shell here, which means I may put anywhere from 7 to 10 or even a dozen coats of newspaper on here. All right, so that's going to be important. So you don't want it too thin, otherwise it's going to break and you're going to have problems with it later on. You need to make this thing sturdy. Now, when it came to mixing the paper mache, the glue here, the flour and water, it actually was pretty easy. Just, again, a cup of flour, a cup of water, and about a half teaspoon of salt. The salt is to keep it from turning moldy. And if I want to release this off my plastic armature later on, what I don't want to do is wrap the newspaper around the edges of the mask, because I want to separate this later. That means around the eye sockets, around the edge here. So don't wrap it around the plastic portion of the mask, just up to the edge. And again, this is just a very repetitive process. I'm going to be doing this over and over again until I have a sufficient amount of paper coats. Now, you can use any kind of paper. You could use your old homeworks. You could use wrapping paper, newspaper, copy paper. There's lots of different kinds of paper you can use for this. Let's get that into camera view. And also, when it comes to the glue, the paper, the water, and the flour, you don't want to mix up more than you're going to use. Okay, this stuff doesn't keep well. If this were art paste or something like that, then you could keep it around for a couple of weeks or longer. But this is just glue and water and flour, essentially. So that's not going to have a long shelf life. And again, the salt is to help it keep from getting moldy. All right, so this part I'm going to kind of probably not can show you the whole doing this. I'm going to keep adding my paper to this. And it's a repetitive process. Again, I'm going to put as many coats as I think necessary. I'm going to say at least a dozen, because I'm using newspaper and it's kind of thinner. And then when I get to the part where I'm going to add these other pieces I cut out from the egg carton and that piece of cardboard. Then I'll go back on the camera here and you'll see that, or you'll see more of my finished result. Okay, so I'm just going to keep coating this with paper more and more and more. Alright, so, and you know, this is my version of it in terms of brushing it on the paper. I suppose you could dip the paper into your flour and water mixture as well. Again, I don't want to bend this around the eye socket like that. I don't want to bend it around the bottom edge here. Keep that in mind. It's very important if you're going to reuse your mask, which I want you to save the mask. I don't, the plastic portion of it. I don't want you to, because again, we may use these later. You may want to use it later. You never know, right? All right? Okay, there. I'm going to keep doing this, and our second video will be more of a finished result.